Mom, you're going to be in the episode.
I am? Why?
Because you'll find out.
Is this a new podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it going to be a noisy one with swimming pool children?
I don't know.
With the piña colada virgen, she thought I was crazy. What are you talking about?
I drank a lot yesterday. I mean, I didn't drink a lot, but for someone who just got off an airplane, I had piña colada, multiple glasses of wine. Here we are, and welcome to a one-question episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast with the special guest everyone has been waiting for, well, that she's been waiting for because she always wants to be on the show. Our mom will be here to answer the question, how was the Odyssey? Mom, you get to go first.
The Odyssey was very good. It was excellent. The first time I saw it, I was overwhelmed and exhausted. I went home, had to take a nap. There's a lot happening. And I saw it again, and I could really enjoy it.
Okay, all right. We're poolside, by the way, because we are making our new movie. We're reunited, and we're in the Canary Islands. So if you hear kids in the background or pools, exactly.
Be jealous you're not in the Canary Islands.
Lily.
So I really liked it. I feel like it's getting a lot of crap.
It is?
I think it is.
No, it's not. Every review
I think
heard was great.
The reviews are good, but then people are still like complaining about the casting and complaining about the fact that it's. I think but I've read stuff like Odysseus just sounds like he's from Boston because it's Matt Damon, it's all like Matt Damon's always Matt Damon, and was he properly cast as Odysseus? The thing is that he's so good and I enjoy watching him. So I didn't overthink it. I think if you overthink it and you think Greek mythology, he's from Boston, he's not Greek. Like, it's just too much. You just go in and enjoy it. I'm surprised about his casting, but he's lovely. So I thought he did a great job. I don't mind. I mean, obviously I think the MVP is Anne Hathaway. I thought she was phenomenal. I also really loved, I thought Pattinson did a great job. I've heard some criticisms of him, but I thought he was great as a villain. Spoiler, he's a villain. And, I was like a little sad that there wasn't maybe more sirens. Because, that's such an interesting part of the story. And I feel like when they were sailing that ship past them, they were like, oh, there's no time or money for the song. Just put wax in everybody's ears and keep going. I guess because you're not supposed to hear the song.
I appreciate the choices that Nolan made in terms of what he was going to spend time and money showing us versus not. And so things like the transformation into pigs, we saw parts of it, but it wasn't that explicit. It was clearly a very contained amount of effects to show the men switching into pigs. Yeah. But it was so well done. And I just feel like I like that lesson in terms of filmmaking, is you actually don't need to show us everything, and it's still really interesting, and it's allowing us to use our imagination. Sorry, we are interrupted for a pina colada break. Pina colada by the pool. But I loved it. I would watch it again. And I think the practical effects were fantastic. I feel like the Cyclops was a little bit slow and sad. He was more of a depressing character than a scary character. And I'm not gonna lie, I've never read the Odyssey. I've never read it.
Nobody has.
No one's. But I looked it up. I looked it up, and apparently, Nolan's ending is different than the actual ending, and I just love
That's not what people are complaining about.
No, I'm not complaining about it. I am saying, what confidence to say, actually, I have a slightly better ending for you.
I have a note.
And I think that it just shows so much confidence. Say, actually, Homer, I think I'm going to tweak this part for you. I have feedback. And I got to say, I really love the ending. So I felt like it worked.
No, he actually tweaked a lot of things because he combined different aspects of the story. First of all, I love the witch. turning the people into pigs. That was a fabulous scene.
Yeah, that was
One
my
of the best scenes.
So
in the movie.
I was going to get to that. I was going to ask because the Odyssey is quite episodic, and so I was wanting to ask everybody what their favorite episodes within it. But my reaction, first of all, was like I'll start from the end, which is Brent Hoff always uses this expression, landing the plane. That movie lands the plane. Like we're at the 2-hour mark. And this is when we're really getting to that last section where he's coming to get his revenge and everything. And I leaned over to my teenagers who were both a little bit wondering why it was so long. And then we all looked at each other and we were like, this movie's getting amazing. Like
it's the last third of the movie is the best part.
Well, but and in true Nolan fashion, it pays everything off. There's lots of little things like the way he flips the bow and the way he pulls the bow.
So seeing it the second time, that's why I appreciated it so much more, because it's so overwhelming that when you see it again, you pay attention to the little details at the beginning that are setups for later. There's lots of little stuff that happens. Yeah. But I want to say something. I saw a lot of interviews, and the accent and saying dad and mom and making it very colloquial is because it was very intentional, according to Nolan, when I heard his interview. He wanted it to feel accessible to everybody. He didn't want it to be like Homer's Odyssey, where you really don't understand what the hell you're reading.
It is kind of funny, though, when he's like, Mom and Dad.
But it was intentional.
I'll give it, Becca, I'll head in a second.
I do agree with you, though.
The thing that I also wanted to say that I really loved about it was I loved how, and Becky touched on this too, there were times where it's felt really small, like it wasn't a lavish epic for no reason. And one of the examples I would give was the kills were almost bloodless. Like someone said, some right-wing person said, "Oh, Mel Gibson should remake this movie." And I look, I'm sure he could make a good version of this movie, but Mel Gibson's version, like there would be heads and eyeballs and everything. There was no blood in this movie. Every kill was almost implied. And even all of the stabs that he had him at the end of the movie, there's no blood. And I thought that was kind of neat. That like
Troy was blood.
No, there was almost no blood.
It was violent.
It was violent, but there was almost no blood. It wasn't Saving Private Ryan with all the heads and spleens and guts.
You asked what our favorite episodes were within the movie, and mine is his conversation with Sinan in Hades. And that moment between them, and you are feeling and experiencing the trauma of the soldiers and his accountability in that, and the choices he had to make as a leader. And it gutted me. I thought it was so powerful.
I thought it was super well done.
And it was so well.
Elliot Page.
Yeah. I think Elliot Page was beautifully cast in that, and he did that scene. That scene just was that was my favorite episode. Is that moment, that whole section, and then that conversation for me.
I also loved the fact that it was practical, that it wasn't a lot of CGI. Like the Trojan horse was built that big, Cyclops was that big, and it's just amazing. It didn't revert to what's used now in CGI. It's just all these puppets and things that made it very real.
Well, I feel like
it made a difference for me.
Oh, for me, it did. I loved it.
Because Avatar feels just as real to me, and that's all computer generated.
I appreciate how practical it was.
So one thing I speaking of practical,
they were hiding in the horse.
One of the things I don't know if sound counts as practical, but a lot is made of this. So we actually brought earplugs because it is truly the loudest
His movies are always too loud.
It is the loudest movie I've ever been to, but what I felt was cool and very intentional about it was that there were scenes where you had crowds of people fighting, but when you look at that Troy invasion, there's not that many guys. It's not as big as Lord of the Rings, but the sound makes you feel like you are at, like there were thousands. They did?
They did not use any.
Oh, but it feels.
Every person on the screen is a real person.
But it feels even bigger because of the sound. Like
Even
it
the
feels
ones
like
hiding in the dirt.
hundreds of thousands. And I thought that was really cool. I also really loved,
They didn't do CG.
okay. So let's talk MVPs
And
because
the giants are all real. All that's real. Just perspective.
they got real giants.
They got 7 foot tall
That
guys
was-
to play the.
And
the
then with the,
giants. I don't remember those guys' names.
Tiny.
and then the armor
beefy.
made them, and then the armor made them even bigger.
And then small stunt doubles.
Yeah.
Like the woman who was a stunt double for Matt Damon, like a ripped stunt double, but who's less than 5 feet, 4'6",
That's
to give the perspective.
That's really cool. So let's talk MVPs before we wrap.
One controversy we have to talk about before we wrap.
Okay. Well,
So go MVPs.
okay, because I'll just say, like, MVPs, my MVP is Pattinson. I think Pattinson, I'm the biggest Pattinson fan I mean, Twilight is just not my thing, but I thought he was such a good villain, and his cowardly running around, ordering people around during that last fight where he's not getting in the...
He's just narrating. He's like, sword, shield,
So
spear.
he's telling people what to do and not doing any of it himself, hiding behind a column.
That was amazing.
He's creepy.
I loved him in it. I loved him in it. I thought he was amazing, and I just continue to think he's as just fantastic, and he's great in Nolan's work. But all right, your MVP, Beck, and then
I totally agree. It's Hathaway. I mean, I think my most surprised valuable player is Elliot Page and Sinan. That's like the biggest surprise for me. But truly, the whole movie, Hathaway she's so good.
She's
so
great, but the first thing that popped into my mind was Elliot Page.
okay.
Okay.
All right, now Lily, give us your MVP and the controversy, and then we will wrap.
Anne Hathaway. And the controversy is that people are really upset that when you can't go see it in an IMAX, and there's only 41 theaters in the United States that you could,
in the world.
or in the world, there's definitely none here, that you're missing so much of the screen. Now, I did not look at the comparisons before I went to see it because I was like, I'm just going to see it. It is what it is. Since I've seen the comparisons, I'm like, oh, that's too bad. I mean, you're not missing anything important for the storyline, but it is kind of depressing that your like heads are cut off. And I just find it fascinating to be such an auteur and an artist. And then most of the people in the world who will ever see your movie will never get to enjoy the full picture. And yes, it's the first movie filmed entirely on IMAX. And yes, the film weighs like 500 tons or something because it's actually rolls of film and it weighs so much. And they had to hand cut it like in the old days and glue the pieces together for the editing. Bravo. But I just think it's a hot take that it's a bit elitist and most people can't enjoy it the way it's meant to be enjoyed. So, leaving that there.
I don't care because the IMAX theaters that are around that aren't true IMAX are just loud. Like the screen's big, but they're so loud. Like I wouldn't go see it.
I just mean, like, I was happy to see it in a normal theater.
I can't see that movie louder than it already
You know what's
was.
great about needing hearing aids? You just don't wear them when you go to the theater and everything's muted.
Where does it rank in the Nolan films for you?
Upper half.
Upper half.
But I like his smaller stuff. To me, The Prestige is still unmatched as my favorite.
I mean, Memento is still one of the best.
Memento to me is like a great starting point.
Inception and Interstellar are so incredible.
Yeah, but to me, The Prestige is still always my favorite. It's the.
You know what? No one's fighting for Tenet though.
I love
The great
Tenet.
Mike Roberts loved Tenet. He convinced us Tenet was great.
Mike's son was seeing the Odyssey for a third time when I saw him. And actually, here's an interesting take. I'm pretty sure it was Mike's son that said this, that in a lot of ways, the Odyssey is a continuation of Oppenheimer. Now, I didn't see Oppenheimer, but the part where you're talking about the cost of war and the cost of people's decisions.
That was so relevant. I thought that was so relevant. The whole underlying philosophy around the message. That kind of hit me really hard the second time I saw it because I paid attention to it.
So that was a real deep.
Made me emotional.
Okay, on that note, I would say I would rank it in upper half. It's not my favorite, but of his movies, but it's a great movie. And I will be rooting for it to sweep all the Oscars. But in tribute to Becky, I would say I didn't like it much more than Avatar Fire and Ash. I thought it was like, I thought those were both pretty amazing feats. All right, and with that,
That's it too.
there's your answer to how was the Odyssey. Bye. Thank you for listening to Friday Night Movie, the sibling rivalry and pop culture podcast. Join the Friday Night Movie family by following @FryNightMovie on all of the socials and visiting our website, FryNightMovie.com. Our theme song is by What Does It Eat? And make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.